Time for a nice local game of football. All right, hello and welcome to the Matchday Vlogs channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button, hit subscribe because it really does make a difference to the channel. This evening, we are going to be talking, of course, about our next away fixture down at the Vitality Stadium. Yes, it is AFC Bournemouth as we are taking on our local rivals. Can we call them rivals? We'll go with rivals.
No.
Also, be able to quick look back at the absolutely devastating 95th minute equaliser that Ipswich got at St Mary's last time out. And also, we're going to be talking about the upcoming charity match, which is happening in the international break. So you do have something to look forward to, everyone. So there was a decent game of football happening. That's happening on Sunday, the 13th of October. Be sure to get your tickets. And one other final quick mention. There are still tickets available for the Yanni B frame shirt. I'll let you into a little bit of a secret. There aren't many tickets that have been sold for this. I think only 46 have been sold so far. So if you are entering this, you have a very high probability of winning a framed Yanni B shirt. Also a chance to get some instant win there, including a signed Charlie Taylor shirt. So be sure to check that out. But there we go. So many images on screen. Jack, how are you doing? You keeping well?
Yeah, mate, all good. I had a slightly longer break than everybody else. I got another weekend off. I've said to you before the game, I'm going to need your help for tonight. It's not going to be a lot of Jack's opinion rather than we're going to win. That's just always my opinion, because I didn't really get to see a lot of the match. I've seen the highlights, but given the fact that the highlight video I saw was a minute and a half, and a minute of that was Tyler Dibble doing goodness. I didn't get to see too much of the match, so I'm excited for you to tell me what's going on. I'm excited for the special guest to let us know what we got in store for us.
Well, is that it? I don't want to dwell too much on the game.
Tell me a story. Tell me the tale of Ipswich.
Well, it was a game that was an improvement, I think. But we should have had 3 more goals from Cameron Archer, so it's devastating that we didn't get a second or a third. But yeah, to concede so late on, I'm not sure where the ref got that much stoppage time from. I know there was 1 or 2 stoppages, but 7 minutes didn't really let the game play either. So, is that me blaming the ref? No, definitely not me blaming the ref.
You had to do it, mate. I wasn't there, so someone's got to do
it. Indeed. Hello to everyone watching the room. Let us know where you're watching the show from. It's always fun to know. I'm rushing through this because we do have a guest with us from FC Bournemouth podcast channel, Back of the Net. So I'm gonna just jump straight to. Do you mind, Jack?
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Someone's got to talk about something.
Exactly. So please give a very, very warm welcome to our guest this evening. We have Sam from Back of the Net podcast. How are we doing, Sam? You keeping well?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for inviting me on.
That's great to have you. So the season started fairly well for you guys, I would say. You've had a couple of draws and a win. From what you've seen of your football so far, are you happy with the progress so far?
I think so. The football's fun. It's exciting. It's what we've always wanted, and it's producing goals. The only 3 points that we've got has been from that weird game at Goodison Park where they outplayed us for 86 minutes, and then we turned it on for the last 9, and then somehow turned it around. Apart from that, though, there's been some good points here and there. Solid point against Forest at the start of the season. I think Newcastle, we were unlucky not to emerge with all 3, given the VAR debacle that it got chalked off. But everyone else afterwards, the media, the pundits, ex-referees, everyone is saying should have been allowed.
Where's the sleeve end? Well,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think they should just wear vests and be done with it. I mean, why not? But it's one of them that they said that there was margin of error and all this kind of stuff. So whatever. But yeah, it felt a bit hard done by with that. The Chelsea one recently at home was a tough one to watch because unlike the Goodison game where we didn't deserve to win but did, in that game we did deserve to win but didn't, based on I thought we outplayed them. But alas, it wasn't to be. And then at the weekend against Liverpool, we played Liverpool. And after Forest winning at Anfield the other week, I sort of knew there was going to be a reaction, and it turned out to be the case. So, yeah, it's gone as expected. I think so. I can't really complain.
Yeah, certainly. You've been at the sore end of a bad result at Anfield once before, haven't you? So certainly it could have been worse. Is what I'm saying. We won't use that number here.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. And you wouldn't know what it's like to concede 9 either, Mike.
No,
so
no.
let's
never done it with 11
don't
on
know
the
what
pitch.
that's
So
like.
just saying that. Never done it with 11 on the pitch.
Thanks to years of therapy, I have no idea what that's like.
I mean, whilst we're on the subject of keeping the faith and all, I was just having a look back at Bournemouth's results at the beginning of last season, because I'm sure you know what it's like to be a team that's come into the Premier League and be written off before it started, and all the pundits saying Saints will get relegated, Bournemouth get relegated, so water's wet, all those lines, stuff like that. Just having a look back at your fixtures, last season you didn't win a game in the Premier League until the 28th of October. So run it back. I mean, because there's a lot of Southampton fans out here that are feeling a little bit anxious about what to do. Should we be panicking? You know, what was the motion like for you back then?
I think for then it was quite different because we got rid of Gary O'Neill. Some say unfairly, but I think most Bournemouth fans were in agreement. We all thank him for what he did. He kept us up, and in the end, we were fairly comfortable. But I think the board and fans thought we could go a level higher, and that's what the new manager can bring. Andoni Iraola, the style of football, I think suits the way we want to be, our identity that we want to convey on the pitch. And obviously, when you've had players playing one way for quite a long time under one manager, they've then got to kind of relearn quite a bold new way of playing under Iraola. So it took a while to click, and there were some sort of moments at the start where even fans were thinking this ain't going to work, is it? And it was about 8 or 9 games in where we were thinking this could be curtains for him, but we all stuck with him. Most fans he did, and now we're benefiting from the fruits of his labor, really, because there was a sort of sliding doors moment where it did all click. And I think the sort of quality of players that we had, they were being sort of utilized in the correct positions. They were being asked to do jobs that was making the most out of their skill set, and we started to win games, and win games we did. So yeah, it's sometimes very difficult at the start of the season, especially when you're thrust into the Premier League. But we had enough at the time. If you can compare it to your situation, I don't quite know, but then that's up to you to decide that. But it was a tough start for us, but sometimes perseverance does pay.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly a lot of nervousness out there. I think you guys had a few more draws than we did at this stage of the season. Perhaps that's a little bit different. But you've had some new changes. Of course, you've had players go out the door. You've had Solanke's gone to Spurs. How are you feeling about that? Have you been able to replace? Is that something that your position covered, or are you still a little bit unsure about it?
We think it's replaced, but when your new striker hasn't scored a goal yet, it's always a bit like, has he been replaced? You never know until he hits the back of the net. The thing is with Solanke, he was a player that he came good quite late in his Bournemouth development. Really, he was signed from Liverpool for a lot of money at the time, 20 million. He was never the number one striker at the time. He was always going to be like second fiddle to Callum Wilson, Josh King. So he didn't really have that pressure. And in time, he got to know how Bournemouth play. And when Callum Wilson moved on, he had to be number one. It took him a while, but when we got relegated to the Championship, I think that's where he came into his own. He took that confidence back into the Premier League. We've now got a striker under Evan Nilsson that is his replacement. We paid 40 million for him now.
I was going to ask you about this. It felt like a lot from this side.
40 million. It's just mad. It's just absolutely mad. But he's in a different situation to Solanke because he has to hit the ground running because he is the main man. Is he worth it? I don't know yet, but I think he could be. He's got all the physical attributes. He's got the kind of he's got the profile of a footballer that will do well for Iraola. It's just he hasn't scored yet. He had a golden chance, obviously, against Chelsea from the spot, missed that, but he's in training clips you watch of him and stuff, and he scored Champions League hat tricks. We all went onto YouTube when we heard his name and we looked at his 3-minute highlight package, which makes every player look the best player in the world. I reckon I could have a highlights package that makes
we
me
should
look
all film one.
Yeah.
All the three of us should film a montage.
Some team would sign me up, like
Exactly.
Dagenham and Redbridge. Someone would. But yeah, I think he will. I think he will turn good for us. But he is one of many players like that we have had to replace. Lloyd Kelly's another one because he went off to Newcastle. But the kind of the recruitment that we've been doing, I think, has been like really good. And I think recently it seems to have worked. So I've got faith that Evan Nilsson will work. It's an expensive one to get wrong, put it that way. But his track record indicates he can score goals. And so far, apart from putting the ball in the back of the net, we've seen like some brilliant things from him. So I'm hoping that Monday's going to be the match where he notches first.
We certainly hope you're very wrong in that opinion. But to see Bournemouth spend 40 million on a striker, I think probably wound Southampton up quite a bit. I mean, I know a lot of fans have been asking for the big profile striker. Certainly it's an area that we're desperate for, to have a prolific striker up front. We bought Cameron Archer. I mean, Jack, what are your feelings on a striker? Are we still lacking, or is it just a case of giving Cameron Archer time?
I think the difference between buying a 20 million striker and a 40 million is that a 40 million you kind of expect it straight away, and a 20 you're like, right, I'm going to give you 5 or 6 games. I'm going to give you a little bit more time to set into it. And Cameron Archer looks different to what we've had in the past. I mean, as long the amount of times we saw Seamus, mate. All I just want is a striker that can hit the target. If we can just do that, we're already above where we were. If they could put a ball in the net, then I don't think we would be keeping him very, very long. So it's a difficult one with Cameron. Same with Barrett and Diaz. To be fair, like neither of them have sort of come in and like, had a scorching game yet. But you can start seeing it slowly. They're getting used to the system. They're getting used to that. They get that physicality back again. It's just you wish one of them would do something. The fact that we're this many games in and the goals have been scored by the right back and the. I'm not going to poo-poo Dylan for being so young, but the academy kid has done it. It's the guys you should be relying on ain't putting it in the net yet. And the one, and all you got to do, mate, is look at Lallana as well. The fact that Lallana's come on the pitch has sort of become the centre of the team now. It's like, right, people need to be performing a little bit better than this, because if Lallana's coming here and being the star pupil, come on, there's room to move for everyone. But it's just goals, mate. We've still got Tool Paul. I'm telling you, Tool Paul's going to end of the season. I know Achu's not going to get that loan to Turkey, and he's going to end the season with 3 vital goals.
Well, this is it. But it's coming in from Football Martin. How are we doing, Martin? Hope you're well. We're paying wages to a man who has scored all over Europe. Paul has never been given a chance. Do you think that's something that we should be contemplating, sort of starting Paul up front? I mean, Ross Stewart is another one, but we have options there.
Ross is the interesting one, because every time you sort of see a little bit of him, you're like, okay, I think there's a baller here, but then what have we seen of him so far? That it's not a lot. In last time he played, it was League One or a little bit of Champo. So there's no relying on that. There's no let's not pretend that that's what we need to be relying on. But there's a little bit about Tool Paul. I'm like, man, he bagged quite a few goals last season, and especially in the Prem, especially if set piece. When was the last time we scored from a set piece, mate, from a corner? Doesn't happen. If you get someone at 6'8", there's a good chance something will bounce off of him. Vestergaard scores goals. If Vestergaard can bag a goal or two, Tool Paul can do something.
I mean, a question for you, Sam. Is there anyone you particularly fear in this Southampton lineup?
I think,
long pause.
I think I think just the unknown quantity of the young lads. Dibbling, I think he'll be playing on the right flank, so he'll probably be up against Milos Kerkez, which I think is one of the duels that will be like really riveting. That's probably, and both Archer and Evan Nilsson have got something to prove. And they both had the same fate on the same day by taking a penalty and missing in front of the cameras, which and even on our vlog, I was like, "Don't do a Cameron Archer, don't do a Cameron Archer, don't do a Cameron Archer." I was like, "Oh, so frustrating," but it's it's one of them. I don't know. I think it's going to be a really intriguing match. The one thing I can say is that we've played Russell Martin's. We've played Russell Martin sides 4 times so far, and we've scored 15 goals against them. So it was a 5-0 against MK Dons, 4-0 against Swansea. I think there was a 3-3 against Swansea. I think they were 3-0 up. He made some changes, 3-3, and then yes, I'm counting that friendly where we won 3-2. So it's tenuous to say the least. But he always plays really open football to the point of does he know what he's doing here? But I think being in the Premier League, he's got better players than he ever has done at any other part of his management career. So this is probably the best time to deploy it. Whether the technical quality, I think, is there with with some of them like Bednarek, Carl Walker Peters, Harwood Bellis, etc. Maybe they are, but I'm just intrigued to see how it pan out, because I think it feels a bit like a Vincent Kompany situation, like Burnley last season, where he just wants to stick to his footballing philosophy, and there should be no deviation from that. And I can kind of understand that, because if the worst thing was to happen for you guys and you got relegated, then at least every player that's still in the squad knows the formula that'll work to be able to, being able to get straight back up. So I'm just intrigued to see how it'll go. But yeah, Dibbling is one, just the unknown quantity. He's got that no fear factor about him. So yeah, kind of interested to see how he'll do.
Yeah, it's kind of funny using the R word, because I think the last time we spoke in person, Sam, it was outside some football pundit thing we've been in Manchester. And I remember you and Tom saying, you enjoy the Championship, you win loads of games. And actually, we did, and we did enjoy it. So that was great advice. Thank you so much. And
I miss it so
comforting
I miss it
in
so
our hour
much.
of need.
Yeah, me too.
Certainly would be nice to get it in there. You mentioned Burnley. That's something we get a lot, and I can totally understand where it's coming from. I mean, you guys picked up your first win last season against Burnley. It's probably where you started to turn your fortunes around. Do you think it's down? I mean, there's a football philosophy. Is it then on the players' heads to turn it round? Is it a case of it's either on the players or the players aren't good enough?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it is on the players, and it's the belief within the players that this is the system to survive in the Premier League. And I think with us, it just takes one moment. Now, that moment for us was a game against Burnley where we weren't, like you said, against Burnley, not overly convincing at all, and it was 1-1 at the time, and then Philip Billing scores a goal from 40 yards, like lobs the keeper, because the keeper, does a bad clearance, and he sees him off his line, and then he scores. I think it was like 45 yards in the end or something. But that was just a moment, and that just bred like lots of confidence throughout the side. And then from there, we went on to play some really good football. So sometimes it's just having the confidence and just having that moment of luck almost that can change things around. But if you've got the talent there, and you think you've got the talent there, then I mean, the players really are ultimately the ones that are susceptible. You could argue that the manager does need a plan B. Sometimes they do when you play certain teams. We don't really have a plan B, because Nottingham Forest showed when they played Liverpool the other week that they can play the Forest way, against the lower sides in the Premier League. But when you play Liverpool, got to be a little bit more resilient, a little bit smash and grab. I don't want to be disrespectful and say they parked the bus, because they didn't. They probably should have won by more than what they did. They caught Liverpool on a bad day. But we just went to Liverpool and we knew what we were going to do. There was no parking of the bus for us. It was literally play the way we play. You see what happens. Sometimes it works. Yeah. Well, scored first. It didn't get allowed, obviously, but we did that last time as well. So sometimes sometimes these things just click, and sometimes it is just that moment of luck. But we don't know how to play in like any other way, so we didn't really have a plan B. But we trust Iraola in that. the problem comes when the fans start to get a bit disgruntled, thinking he needs to deploy a plan B, like Burnley's fans did. And Vincent Kompany did sort of make some slight tweaks like for Burnley last season, but it was too little too late. And ultimately, judging by his managerial move to Bayern Munich like he did, he was probably thinking about his own career rather than the football club, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, certainly, lots of people say maybe Russell Martin's on his way to the Bundesliga, but I certainly hope not.
Union Berlin.
Just on that, because we've both played them. What did you think of Forest? Because I remember Forest being a terrible side when it came to St Mary's last time, and they're pretty good, aren't they?
They were better. They were better than we've faced them previously. I think when we played them, it was just a complete game of two halves, really. The substitutions that we made managed to nullify them, and then we had the better of the second half, deserved our goal. They had the better of the first half, they deserved theirs. But they were one of the teams that I was thinking could be in and around the relegation zone. But from what I've seen so far, I don't know. They seem to have something about them, and I think that they've made some quite astute signings, and James Ward-Prowse is one of them.
It does hurt. Jack's over it, but I'm still in grievance.
Yeah, and I don't know. They've got all these like strings to their bow. I just think, you know what, they could be all right this season. I don't think it's going to be top 10 or anything like that, but they're going to enter the realm of like the top half of the bottom half sort of thing. Which for them, I think that's exactly where they need to be. So yeah, they didn't. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a massive surprise, but it was just quite interesting to play a side that actually sort of gave a bit back for once, because we usually go up to City like the City ground and roll them over, but we didn't this time. So yeah,
you've had some good results there. So nice. Well, should we have a look at the potential lineups and who we could be facing? It's probably a good segue to get into. Of course, I've basically uploaded. Let me see if I can do this more slickly than I did backstage before the show. Let me see if I can move this over. Look at that. That's not too bad. That's not too. I'm quite happy with that. There we go. Just block that off. Lovely stuff. So just looking at the potential lineups, this is the Southampton side that faced Ipswich at the weekend, and this is the Bournemouth side that faced, who were you playing? Liverpool at the weekend.
Yes, Liverpool. Yeah.
Do you see? Is that what you would normally set up with formation wise? You normally go with the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1. Exactly that.
It's a popular shape right now. In terms of the selection, is that for you your strongest 11? Would you prefer to see any changes in there?
I don't think it's our strongest 11. No, okay. And I do sense that some changes will be made. So from what I'll just pick some out that whilst I'm
go for it.
Looking at it. So our right back, Julian Araujo, who's been very energetic and a decent asset to have. I think Adam Smith, who's been with us for about 150 years, he's going to be starting. He's absolutely solid for us and still is. So Adam Smith, I think, will be starting. Julian Araujo, by the way, we did a video with him last week where he was helping us paint a pub, like the local, like the local pub to like AFC Bournemouth, the home fan and like only pub, the Queen's Park. We've been helping to kind of renovate or refurbish like one of the rooms. So we were doing some painting, and he just comes in, and we get him to pick up a paintbrush. We're chatting to him for 10 minutes about life, and it's really nice. But yeah, Adam Smith, he'll be in it right back there. I think Dean Howson as well at centre back will probably be out for Marcos Senesi, I'm guessing. Okay. So yeah, Senesi in for him. There we go, somewhere there. That's the one.
How on earth did I spell that right first time?
I cannot wait. I cannot properly start throwing some names at him.
Well, we're
go deep.
We're recording our opposition preview tomorrow, and we're just looking at some of the surnames that you've got, and it's the most complicated team to type out in the world. It really is. You've got such long names, like double-barreled names. So complicated.
Double Barrow FC. That's what
that's by the hour. It's fine.
Double Barrow FC. So in front of that, you've got Cook and Christie, which I broadly agree with. If I had my way, I would probably keep that side as it is, there's a chance that maybe Louis Sinistera could come in for perhaps Justin Kluivert, putting Tavernier in the number 10 position. But I don't think so. I think that's probably as close to what we'll get. And that seems to be, at the moment, fans' sort of favoured side. So that would be my starting 11.
Nice. Okay. And that would be your generally on its day the strongest one. There's no others out injured currently that you would prefer to have in, or
not really. The only injury that we've got in the squad at the moment is a long-term one, Tyler Adams. But we've barely seen him kick a ball, so we've got no idea what he's even like. So we're actually quite good on the injury front for once. But that's probably how I would start, regardless.
Yeah. Okay. Jack, let's go to you with our lineup. This is how we set up against Ipswich.
Yeah.
Were you happy with that? Would you make changes to that?
My big thing before going into that game, because we didn't really get to do a preview before that game, was Kyle Walker-Peters, and the fact that for me, I didn't feel like he was cutting the mustard this season. To be honest, the fact that he was leaving so much space behind him is really it was really detrimental to the team. The amount of space that was left of him charging forward, and so to see Taylor come in, I was happy, but still at the same time, like, right, even I, who think dropping Kyle Walker-Peters was the right idea, still thinks it might be not the right thing to do. So, I mean, you were at the game. You saw how did it seem a bit more secure that back line?
Yes, yep. Defensively, 100%. And actually, in the cup game, it looked a lot more solid. Actually, having a recognised left back in that position, but it certainly the creativity going forward. I mean, the big eyebrow thing for me is the fact that we've got Ryan Fraser who's coming in and effectively he's replacing Ben Brereton Diaz in that position. I mean, if I was Ben Brereton Diaz, I'd be a bit of a wake-up call to be replaced by, no disrespect to Ryan Fraser, but he wasn't designed to be coming in as a starting 11, I don't think, in all honesty. So that was a bigger shock for me than seeing Charlie Taylor in left back. But yeah, I think if we lose a little bit of creativity, we do have Adam Lallana there and Tyler Dibbling there. So, we do have creativity in that side. It's just defensively, it did feel a lot surer. And Sugawara looked great as always in that right back position. But just to fill you in a little bit, Sam, we had we all thought we were losing Kyle Walker-Peters in the summer. So Sugawara was effectively bought as a replacement. And now they're both here. So Kyle Walker-Peters can play on the left, so he's been kind of playing on the left as well. So, but there's a bit of a debate on whether you should stick with the flair of Kyle Walker-Peters, perhaps not as great defensively, or stick with Charlie Taylor. But yeah, I quite like the lineup.
The biggest thing that Kyle Walker-Peters has got going against him is that I absolutely love Sugawara. I think he's weird. I think for me, he's one of those signings for the first time. I mean, Ramsdale is without a doubt the most. That's the best signing. But Sugawara, like, how much was it? 6 million. I'm just like, I bloody love this. This is my kind of sign. This is the most Football Manager kind of signing. I love it. Just one of the ones you just pick him up from the Dutch league. Just comes in and he's exactly what you want down that way. He comes in straight away, makes a difference, and I think he's been better than Kyle Walker-Peters this season. Now that might be because Kyle's on the other side, but I don't care. Give me the new blood. Give me the new blood, because him and Dibbling down that wing together look electric. And I think Sugawara is smart enough to be like, I want to give Dibbling the ball and let him express himself the way he needs to. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this lineup on the proper and what they've got going about it. And see, we're in that awful position again where we don't have a clue what our best starting 11 is. And at the beginning of the season,
I think this is close though.
This is the closest it's been.
Yeah.
It does feel like it from the stability that I've heard about, but I've got to see it with my own eyes yet. So, but for me, this is how I will start again on Monday.
This area here, let's see if I can get my cursor over it. This area here, 100% is that area definitely locked up. This area here, unsure. But
I didn't know what it was after the Brentford game. I was like, do you know what? I think Lallana needs to start, and I was bullied by our supporters being like, no, Lallana cannot be starting in the Premier League. And I missed one game and I come back and all those people are like, actually, Lallana needs to start every single game. I'm like,
I've got the letters of apology, Jack. They're all behind me. Just
go away for a week.
Yeah.
So as long as you want to see the sections like clicking, and if that midfield works, that's it. If that defense is now defending goals rather than being a detriment to itself, let's go with it. it's just need goals, mate. It's just 2 goals isn't enough for where we are right now.
No, and certainly Aaron Ramsdale made some fantastic saves at the weekend, and of course we're 2 sides that have spent. You've got a loan keeper, haven't you, Sam?
Kepa's a great signing.
But Kepa's he's the world's most expensive goalkeeper.
Well, yeah, at Bournemouth.
3 million at Bournemouth, which is mental. And of course, Aaron Ramsdale, we know very well, of course, through being an ex-Cherry, and we sold him for good money as well. And it's weird, like we know that there's more needle on our fans, when it comes to Southampton. Southampton fans invariably don't really seem to care, but we used to sing to Jordan Pickford, to Nick Pope, whenever an England keeper came down, we'd always sing, "You're just a Aaron Ramsdale." Like, do we sing that now? Because he's playing for you guys, but he's a brilliant keeper and he's a great character as well. And I can understand why he sort of needed the move. My only concern with him, his CV is awful when it comes to playing for sides that get relegated. And for his sake. Maybe not for yours. I don't know. It could look bad if Saints go down. So yeah, he's brilliant. Ryan Fraser, I've not really got the same affection for, surprisingly, because we absolutely hate him.
No, for those that don't know, do you mind filling us all in with the reasons? Because we've had it from the Newcastle fans why they don't like him, and I think it'd be a great opportunity to let us know why Bournemouth fans don't like him. So
he played for us He had one good season for AFC Bournemouth. He was average throughout the rest of it. Eddie Howe was the man who took him under his wing, taught him how to cook, basically treated him like his son. And then Ryan Fraser paid him back with a superb season that got him noticed. There were circlings from a few clubs, and then it turned out that Arsenal were interested. Soon as Ryan Fraser learned about that, he down tools. He really did down tools. And in the last season, he was pretty poor for us, I would say. And then obviously, COVID happened. The season was delayed and restarted late, by which time a lot of the players that were going to be out of contract, their contracts had technically expired by the time that the season was finished. So there were a few players, Adam Smith might have been one of them, Simon Francis, our right back. There were a few Bournemouth players that instantly, put pen to paper and was like, oh yeah, of course I'll play for the remaining 8 or 9 matches and help AFC Bournemouth. Ryan Fraser did not do that. And we got relegated, and then he comes out in a media interview on Radio Silence saying, "Yeah, had I put pen to paper and played for Bournemouth, I could have probably saved them from the drop." Like, are you joking me? And I'm not even exaggerating that story as well. Those are effectively his words. So, and then when he goes to Newcastle, we're quite surprised, but he's obviously had the rifts healed with Eddie Howe, and then he goes and treats him like SH1T again. So, I feel sorry for Eddie, but not so much for Ryan. And it didn't surprise me that his move to Southampton came so late. That's so Ryan Fraser. I mean, and then he comes out and does the media interviews. Oh yeah, you know what? I always knew I was going to play for this club. There was only one club. Why didn't you sign about a month ago then? Why did you leave it so late? Money.
Yeah. No doubt being at Newcastle, there would have been a fair bit of watch on the table.
If I'm going to be objective, he can be a talent, and he's helped us score goals at St Mary's. I remember in that 3-3 where Callum Wilson scored at the last minute. It was a Ryan Fraser assist on that side.
We survived that day.
So yeah. So that's one of the he's a player that thrives on a good combination with his striker. So if he gets that, then goals could come. But for us, we hope he's probably not playing, but has to warm up just in front of the North Stand so we can all give him some grief. That would make us very happy.
Indeed, I'm sure we'll be warming up in front of the small away section, which we'll get onto that later on in the show. Right. So where are your threats in this lineup here? Where should Southampton fans be particularly wary of from this 11?
Mike, where aren't our threats? That's the question. Oh, well, look, I mean, the obvious one I would say is Semenyo. I just think he's brilliant. When I watch him, he just looks scary to play against. He can hit the ball with his right, with his left. So if you're a defender, if you're a left back or whatever, trying to mark him, it's like you don't know which way he's going to go. And his shots are so powerful. He's very direct with his running. Kluivert's a very canny player. I think Tavernier is another one that's a threatening player. But if I was going to put say someone that maybe I wouldn't get mentioned, I might say Milos Kerkez, left back, who's
Okay.
Hungarian, but recently he's been like growing really into his role. He is our main left back really after the departure of Lloyd Kelly. And whilst we have got replacements and other things that we can do, he is the main man at the moment, and he's really stepping up. I think he's probably got eyes on a move at the end of the season to go somewhere bigger and better, which is fine. We understand that we are a stepping stone club. But the way he bombs up and down that left flank and whips the balls into the box, so he's a really energetic player, and I fancy him to get an assist on Monday night. But so I could say our front four, whatever, but I think that's just like boring to say that. So Milos Kerkez is another standout player who just seems to have bundles of energy, very highly strung player who he'll be a menace down that left side.
And of course, looking at who Semenyo would be facing up against, of course, if we're going with that lineup for Southampton, I mean, it probably leans even more so to putting Charlie Taylor in there to have the defensive qualities to cope with Semenyo. But yeah, that tends to be our threats as well, really, isn't it, Jack? It's sort of the pace on the wings and the through ball through the centres, isn't it?
I mean, it was last season. So far this season, our threats they're somewhere on that pitch. We just need to figure it out as well. But no, it is those wings for us. It's. I can imagine this game is going to get caught, but really narrow for fear. But if either team trying to play too wide, so it could go either. It's going to be a fun game. I do feel like both teams are kind of going to want to be at it, and like you say, they both kind of have. We've not had it so far, but if we were to have attacking prowess this season, it would be in the same kind of positions. Mm-hmm. I just kind of feel that there could be just, like you said, a lot of fun battles in this game. And I do sort of see that. Both those wingers, that Diblin and Fraser just having a maybe not Fraser not having a good time, but having a time.
Well, just by we've got a first comments of it is a derby. No, it isn't. There's the pantomime stuff going on already, but I'm sure we'll get onto that later on. Okay, cool. Well, I'm happy to lock this in. If you gentlemen are both happy with that, that is the favoured 11s for Saturday. Look at that, nice stuff. Right, Monday. Thank you. This is the time of the weekend where we realise that your football team can't ruin your weekend. Because they're not playing until. But then you have the fear of like everyone moving whilst it's a weird feeling, is it? And then when you play on Friday, you have the opposite. But yeah, no, it's good fun to see. Right, should we get on to the more audacious side of the score predictions and how we think the game's going to go, Jack? Is it?
I mean, let's keep in mind there is a guest here, so let's not go as hard as usual.
Jack normally remains pretty on brand. Sam, he normally shoots slightly higher than Sam. But
if you're not going to the game expecting a win, why do you even go?
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's true.
Fair shout.
It's true. Fair shout indeed. Right, of course, this is the part of the show where we'll be putting in our score predictions for the game. So to be sure to put in your score predictions in the chat section now, and we'll be going through those right after the three of us have given ours. I kind of feel it's only right that we should let our guest go first.
I feel so.
Or should we do a Bournemouth Saints prediction? How should we do it like that? Should we do
let's
cherry
do
sandwich?
A cherry sandwich. Yeah. Beautiful things.
Very good, slightly creepy as well. Jack, would you like to go first?
Go on then. I'll do the.
Okay.
Do you know what? Because it's away. I just want a win, mate. That's all I want. And for the first time, I'm gonna be reasonable. 2-1. That's all I want. I want a nice, simple 2-1 win.
I thought you might get there.
And I'll be happy about that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I want.
And do you have any particular goal scorers?
Diblin. Do you know what? Diblin with the brace. Just I feel like he's going to tick on and we're losing by January. I can see it happening already. So just a big few games from Dibbling. But in reality, mate, I really don't know where the goal was coming from in this game. So
It's a concern.
for me, I'm throwing it all on that man's shoulders. I'm going to do exactly what Russ tells us not to do and put everything on that young man keeping us up this season.
There we go. That is Jack locking in a 2-1 win to Southampton. Sam, over to you. How do you see? Firstly, how do you see the game going in terms of it panning out, and then your final score?
I think it will be fairly tentative from both sides, as obviously the cauldron of an atmosphere that's created by a local game between two massive rivals. I think it'll be quite a tentative start, but I think we'll have a lot of the ball. I think we'll test your keeper a lot. I think one of the things that we're maybe makes me optimistic is looking at like the conceding XG stats and all that. Like XG, I absolutely hate it. Just put the ball in the back of the net. If you score, great. XG doesn't matter. But I think that indicates that we will have chances and we will have quite a few. I think in terms of the stats, we've had more shots than or we're certainly up there. Before the last set of games, we had more shots than any other side in the Premier League this season. Not sure after Liverpool, although we had 19, which is the most they've faced since Everton in 2014. This stat brain's absolutely going off on one. But so I think that we will score, and I think we'll score a few. I'm going 3-1 Bournemouth. That's what we're going for. Bournemouth 3, Southampton 1.
Okay, any particular goal scorers?
I think Evan Olsen will score. He needs to.
He's yet to score, right? He's not.
Yeah,
scored.
he hasn't scored. Yeah, okay. He hasn't. He scored one in training the other day, but those don't count, which is really annoying. 2 for Evan Olsen and 1 for Antoine Semenyo. That's what I'm going for.
Nice. Wow.
That would make sense. It would make sense that his first goal will be against us. That feels very Southampton.
Yeah, it would indeed.
You know what I mean? It just feels like the big signer hasn't scored yet. Don't worry.
We've all got these things as clubs, like, oh, that's so Bournemouth if that happens, and you've got it the same. I'm kind of glad that every club's got that little. That's so Southampton. That's so Bournemouth. I love it.
Yeah, that's the way it rolls. What's that? You're on a losing streak. Come to St Mary's. Come on, let's end that streak.
Come on down.
Watch it turn around. Right, for my score prediction, where am I going to go with this? I too think it's going to be quite a tense game. There's a lot of pressure on Russell Mind for this one. I kind of feel that he needs to get a win within the next 3 games. If I'm honest, I think it's getting pretty tight. So he's going to be going all out, and I'm going to say a 2-1.
For this channel, that pretty much might as well be a loss that we've just put there. That is,
yeah, that's about as kind of like as we get. It's normally like, we're going to win 3-0, stuff like that. But this is where we're at the moment. My concern is like, where are the goals going to come from? And we scored obviously against Ipswich at the weekend. Tyler Dibbling, great goal, but we should have scored 3 more. And that's been kind of like probably a bit modest, But there we go. That is my thoughts. I'm going with a 2-1 Ledger. Have I got those the right way around? I have, hasn't I? Yes. So yeah, the home team, away team. There we go. Lovely stuff. Right then, let's go over to the infamous chat section. There's a lot of pessimism here. Oh gosh. Okay. Jack, you ready? Because I've seen 1 or 2 draws in here. That's going to send you over the edge.
Go for it.
If you need to take a minute, it's fine. Right, let's
Pop
start
me in the
off.
green room till this is done.
All right, here we go. Great. Well, we've got Football Mind. How we doing? Look at this. 2-2. He's going for a draw. Oh, my goodness. Jack, you okay? Jack doesn't like draws, so just in case you're wondering. It's just like, doesn't like that. So going for a 2-2. The Kingdom View is going for a 2-1. Dibbling with the brace. He's with you, Jack. There we go. Football Crazy is going for a 2-1. God, these aren't as bad as I thought they were. All Things Southampton going for a 3-2 Saints. Matt Ward's going for a 1-0 from the Saints. Lovely stuff. Wolves going for a 2-1. Young Tyler and Wee Man to score. God, that'd be something. I'm guessing Wee Man would celebrate. Wouldn't it say so, Sam? It's this sort of thing.
Oh, he would. He absolutely would, and he will love it if he does.
Daniel Smith's going for a 3-2 Saints as well. These are all pretty positive, actually. Look at this. Yeah, it's going for a 3-2. Member of the channel, thanks so much for the support. Andy's going for no chance of a clean sheet. Goalfest, Cherries 3, Southampton 4. Look at that. Delgo86 is going for a 2-1 as well. Taylor Howard, Bellis from a corner. Dibs with a late winner. Stevens is going for just a win would be great. Very much needed. 1-0 Saints. Aiden's going for a 2-1 Saints, I hope. Chloe is going for a 2-0 Saints. She's confident for a clean sheet here. Isn't it amazing, Sam, that there's all this favouritism towards Southampton? I'm sure you're not surprised by.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I don't know. I thought one person might say that we'd get a result, but obviously not.
Still time. There's still time.
Any other Saints fan channel, they probably will be. We're all pretty deluded over it.
No,
quickly, I'm going to just open another tab, go onto YouTube, and put in my own.
Ryan's going for a 2-1. Tyler and Weeman. And Graham Osmond is going for a 2-2. Fernandez and Big Yanni B. Look at that. And of course, don't forget, opportunity to get yourself a Yanni B shirt should you want. There we go. Seamless, that was.
That was beautiful. That was salesmanship, and I love that.
I like that. Try the chicken. Here we go. Lovely stuff. Right. Is there any more? Oh, Rob Baker's in with a 1-0. And Proclaim saying Bournemouth ain't scoring against the mighty Aaron Ramsdale. God, I've just set that up to be clipped, haven't I? Right. And Justin Hamilton's going for a 2. Oh, look at that. I'm more surprised that people think we can score 2 goals. So
I know.
There we go.
Great.
Yeah. Was it, how can we get a Yanni B shirt? Well, it's funny you should ask.
Funny
because
say.
Funny should say. It's available there. Check the QR code. Lovely stuff.
And you know what? Football prizes, we've got a thing going with them as well. And they are good, actually. I met a lad that was walking outside. Where was it? Like Anfield the other day. And he was one of the instant win.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And he won an instant win cherry shirt. I can't remember. Lewis Cook, was it, or something? But yeah, he won a signed shirt. So they're legitimate. They are very good, actually. So get on it. Why am I doing this for you? But yeah, they're very good.
I know you're working with the two, Sam. So yeah, there's some great prizes in there. And I'm just waiting to get them send me some pictures of the winners. I quite like to showcase those. So that'd be good. Lovely stuff. Fantastic. Right. Well, thank you so much for all of those score predictions. We certainly hope the favourable ones do come true indeed. Right then, off to the topic of the title of this video. Is it a local rival? What is the general feeling amongst the Bournemouth fan base in regards to, because you alluded to it earlier, like they feel like it is. A lot of us saying the more we say it isn't, the more it sort of has this weird tension, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's, by dictionary definition, it is a derby. We appreciate it's not your derby. It's not the derby for Saints fans, but it is a derby because we are so geographically close to each other. I think the amount of times we play each other over the years, I think Eddie Howe alluded to this once, I think there will be more of a rivalry stoked up. As time goes on, I'm absolutely certain. I think not being in the same league for most of our existence has kind of meant that there's always been this kind of friendly / patronising little tap on the head of Bournemouth fans from Southampton fans. There. I think from my point of view, it's just like when I was growing up, I'm 43. So going to kind of school in the 90s and seeing some mates just default to supporting their nearest Premier League team rather than like, why don't you just give Bournemouth a go? Albeit we were probably in the 3rd or 4th tier at the time, and that's maybe a little bit hard to stomach more now that we're in the Premier League. And it's so weird that when we're getting on at Bournemouth to go to St Mary's, to get off at Southampton Central, there are lots of Southampton fans that are getting off at that are also getting on at Bournemouth as well. Like same on the way back, and it is just kind of really strange. I think obviously you put money in buckets and stuff, which is nice of you and all that kind of stuff. And
You're welcome.
it is reminded to us fairly regularly. But I think, maybe there is a bit of needle there, and is it a derby? Is it not? I don't know. Look, how many times do you, okay, I'll ask you this question. Do you know how many times we've played each other competitively since 2010?
At least twice.
I want to say 8.
16 times. We've played each other 16 times since 2010. If you go back that many games with your matches competitively versus Portsmouth, you'd be in 1975. So is it... I'm asking the question here.
And that's why it's so special, and that's why the hatred is so deep.
Look, I know it's historical.
Jackie's He's got us.
But, I know it's a historical thing, but is it more convenient for you for it not to be a rivalry because of the different trajectories? I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, just poo-poo us. It just makes it easier, doesn't it? But yeah, honestly, that stat actually kind of took me by surprise, because I was just working out when we were doing our preview earlier. I was thinking, like, how many times have they played Portsmouth? And I went back 16 games. Yeah, 1975, which is absolutely mental, really, which it feels like it's been a lot more than that. I feel like I've seen more Bournemouth, Southampton, Portsmouth games than I've even seen myself, but that can't be right because I wasn't even born. So it's a strange one. I think it will intensify. I think, with a younger generation of fans coming through, I'm sure that'll happen. Maybe history will seep through the various generations to try to stop that from being the case, and for Portsmouth to be your true rivals. But for us, it does mean something. There is a little bit of needle there. We know it's not reciprocated, which is a bit frustrating at times. But Celavi, if we win, great. We'll probably lord it up on you, sort of over you, and then we'll move on. But that's the same as we do with any other club anyway. So one of them.
Exactly that. You do make an excellent case there, Sam. I've not had that stat before.
I gave it a bloody good go.
I've been caught off guard. I feel like you've had a team of lawyers working with you for that stat. I kind of feel a little bit like, oh my goodness, I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely see your point, and I always think about like derbies elsewhere, and it almost feels like you remember the time when Man United and Arsenal were constantly at each other, a bit like City and Liverpool, and all those kind of things that felt like a bit of animosity. But is it a derby if there's all that kind of stuff, really? But the only problem I've got with AFC Bournemouth is the size of your stadium. We're not going on Monday because we didn't have enough aways. It sold out at 18 plus aways.
Yeah, stupid.
Absolutely nuts. So that's the only gripe I've got. I've always wanted to go to Vitality, and I even tried to go to that under-21s England game, and that sold out as well. So I'm doubly annoyed. I'm thinking but it's very convenient to have teams close to and around you. And being on the South Coast, how rough it is going to Newcastle. Actually, Newcastle, that's not a good example because it's a good night out.
Yeah, true.
But going to Burnley or going to anyone north of Manchester, or just Manchester, it's a long way away. So that's my only kind of thing. I just wish you'd have a bigger state. Is there plans to expand and or move away? Or
I think expand. It's going to be, so basically we've got a new training ground that's being built 5 miles northwest of the current facility. At the moment, they're training next to the stadium. We've got our training pitches right next to it. But as soon as the new training ground, which is a multi-million-pound thing, funded by our new American ownership, and it looks fantastic, like state of the art. It will look great in the Premier League. I think it's got the same geographical football print as Staplewood, so it's we'll be in a good place. And as soon as that's sort of ready, the players can move there, and then we can sort of use the land that we're on now, but also where the training ground is on Kings Park, to develop a new stadium. And they're looking at potential capacities of initially 18,500, but growable to 22.5. I'd prefer 22.5 from the off. And that's hopefully in consultation. I mean, as a channel with Back of the Net, we'll be reaching a stage, hopefully the next month or two, that we'll have more subscribers than seats in our new stadium, that we could have 18,500. So come on, we need to think big. And whilst it's not as big as Saints, we understand that we're not a footballing area. we are a tourist town. But we've got a big conurbation, and there's people that want to watch the Cherries at the moment that can't. And I feel for these kind of young lads that just are desperate to watch Premier League football and they can't do it. And we are probably at the moment, we are probably losing out fans to Southampton who are wanting to see their nearest and dearest like stars that they would usually only see on Match of the Day because they can't see them at Dean Court, which is a shame. But hopefully in the next sort of 4 or 5 years, that should be changed. But training ground first and then new stadium. And we desperately need that. And then hopefully you can come and watch a game.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'd say we too certainly hope it's as much as possible, because then that would mean that 10% of your allocation will be a higher number for us, and you'd be able to sell more than 800 seats or whatever it is. Like.
I only went to Newcastle away first game of the season. I thought, well, I want to go Bournemouth, so I commit to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Rookie error.
Worth it.
Sadly,
good red card,
all those trips up north. But 18 plus aways, that's absolutely savage. I did look at the allocation for Man City away and someone asked me, do you reckon that'll get down to 5 plus aways? I said, I reckon that'll get to -5 with a hotel stay and you get your flights included for that. So, but no, we'll certainly hope that those kind of things happen, really. But Sam, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you on, and we certainly do wish you the very best for the rest of the season after Monday. But I haven't let people know where they can find you if they don't know already. The social channels. And that sort of stuff.
The social channels there. So on Twitter and Instagram and whatever else, it's on there, Facebook, etc. Search Back of the Net on YouTube. Just Back of the Net AFC Bournemouth or AFC Bournemouth Fan TV. It'll probably come up. It'll be me or Tom or there's a few of us that kind of contribute to the channel fairly regularly with all sorts of different content. So yeah, try to be authentic as possible, travel home and away to every game, and just try to represent the Ches as well as possible.
It's fantastic stuff, and it's excellent quality. I remember sort of lusting after your image quality quite a few times, saying to you, "What camera are you using for that?"
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's absolutely brilliant stuff, and certainly all the stuff you do in and around the game before and after is top quality. So we certainly applaud you for that. Fantastic.
I feel bad now because the preview, which kind of me and Tom have recorded half.
Have you been nasty?
No, we're not. No, I tell you what, Mike, we're lovely to you. Because we play that little bit of video you sent me a few weeks ago, where you did your predictions, your head and heart. So we play that. So we're really nice to you, but we're on the wind up. We're on the wind. Don't take it personally. It's fine. Okay, sorry. Just thought I'd put that in there.
I expect nothing less from Tom. I know exactly what it's like. But I get that. I know he's feeling like seeing all friends around him sort of support. Because when I was growing up, it was either you supported two teams, either Southampton, a local big club, or Liverpool, who were winning everything at the time. So I kind of get that because everyone's full of Liverpool fans and they've never ever been there. So I get that sentiment that, support local, and certainly to have us not doing so well and you doing very well means that there's more chance that fans would gravitate towards, although you do need to sort your stadium out to fully capitalise on that. So, mixed feelings whether they want you to expand or not, but we'll see. I do, in honesty. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for everyone who's joined us here live. Please feel free to keep the conversation going in the comment section. Always good to keep that discussion going. If you haven't had a chance to put your score prediction, stick it in there. It's always fun to keep it going. To our guests this evening, Jack, as always a pleasure to have you, mate, and Sam from the AFC podcast. So be sure to smash a like and subscribe, and make sure that his subscriber total is more than the new stadium, which is what he's going for. Fantastic stuff. Excellent. Well, as always, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, see ya.